Hey everyone, I'm gonna do a look. It's kind of like a get ready with me video. Wanted to try this chameleon um, makeup. Oh my god, I don't know why my face turned yellow, but whatever. I put it in this little cosmetics bag from Bath and Body Works. I never was into Bath and Body Works. Now I'm obsessed with them. That's my new obsession. But yeah, I put it in here. So yeah, I haven't done a video in 6 months. I have been in and out of the hospital in the past 6 months. I've fallen 7 times. I went after I did my last video. I went back in. I can't remember if it was that the ribs were acting up. Probably, most likely, it was my hips. Said I needed to see a pain management specialist. Then I went in for kidney failure. I only have, I'm using this one. Sorry that my face is yellow. This is an old camera. I did not know that I had stones. I was using this thing from I think it was from, I don't remember, it's from South America. And I've spoken about this on my other channel. It's called Chancapiedra, which in Spanish means stone crusher. And you know, I supposedly had a big stone that they were gonna do major surgery on me like 6 years ago, maybe longer, maybe more like 10. I don't know. I had a huge stone on my right side, and they said that I was gonna need surgery to remove it, not lithotripsy or anything like that. And yeah, I think I don't remember if it was 2016 or 18, probably 18. I wound up passing and taking that stone crusher pill. So I'm using this. I'm trying to just use what came in the collection: 4 liners, 2 highlighters, and 2 glosses. And that's what I'm trying to use. So, fast forward to going to my pain management specialist. I had to pee for her, and I couldn't, nothing was coming out. And let me tell you, I could pee every 20 minutes. I was so scared. Drinking a bunch of water, nothing's happening. And oh, I could see the pink shift. Oh, nice. So nothing's happening, and I got scared. I didn't want her to think that I was doing it on purpose. So it was getting late. I had to pick up my husband because he started working at a different location, and he would give me the car. You know, when I needed it for a doctor's appointment, and I had to go pick him up, and they're not listening to me. I'm like, I have to go. So they said, well, then let's, do your saliva. So they stuck something under my tongue, and then they let me go. Wow. Wow, this is a mess. I knew from the beginning this was going to be a mess. I watched these women do it on camera and it's awful, but you know. Okay, I guess that's is what it is. So I I didn't know it was wrong, but I had one more doctor's appointment the next day, and I was like, Lord, if I could pee tonight, I'm gonna go to that appointment, and if not, then I'll go to emergency room. And I actually peed. So I went to the appointment, washed my hair and took a shower, and then went to the emergency room, and I have a ton of stones on my left side when I thought they got them out back then. And that there's a huge stone blocking my right, and I don't know, it doesn't look even. So um yeah, kidney failure due to stones. They informed me that if I didn't want stents, when I get stents, I feel like someone else has control of my body, and I don't like that. And they do, because I found out that all urologists are a bunch of liars. So far, and this is why I almost died with kidney failure, because they're freaking liars. I go in there and I said I don't want stents. The other option was to put holes in my back, I think they said, or my sides, and drain the kidneys out themselves. This guy, I did not want those stents. My daughter is like, you can't do that other thing. That sounds a lot more dangerous. You can't do it. So the guy is like, you only have the stents for 2 weeks. Still using the green as a highlighter. I used this pink one in my crease. He's swearing to me up and down they'll be out in 2 weeks. I don't know if this is gonna work, but I'm gonna try this brown one now. So they I wanted to put black, but I had it right here, and I don't know where it went, so I'll just use what I have here. So wow, look at that mess. Reluctantly, I agreed to have the stents put in me because my stones were blocking. The stents would push the stone or bypass the stone. I'm like, why can't you just take care of it right now? He said that he didn't have the equipment there. He's a liar. What you bring all of this equipment with you when you? He's a liar. Anyway, my daughter's hysterical crying, thinking I'm gonna die. So I was like, fine, let's just do these stents. They'll be out in 2 weeks. So I'm in the hospital for a couple of days because until my kidneys would function. Well, they found out my right kidney's dead. That's it. It's not functioning at all. Because there's like no meat. It shrivels up. And so I knew that last time, but I thought that, like, at the time it was not functioning about 30%. This time they said that it was like just completely dead. There was no saving that kidney. But I told him, I really would still like for you to take the stone out that's blocking it. For some reason, the renal specialist, kidney specialist, says, "Oh, maybe we could get it functioning again," but he's got to take the stones out. He, what I can see from this man, I don't. He wasn't like mean, but he just seemed like uncaring. So the next day, he comes in and says, "I'm going on vacation, so I won't be able to take him out for a month." Oh my goodness, I was so mad. I kind of like started raising my voice, and then I calmed down and I said, "You know what? There's got to be other urologists here that can take care of this, because that's crazy." No. Well, he left and came back, and I asked him that, and he's like, No. It'll be 2 weeks. He refused to give me bladder relaxer. He says, "We want you to eliminate." Once they put the stents in, I was eliminating. I don't know why he wouldn't give me that. And pretty much for the whole month, my bladder would be in so much pain at night when I'm trying to sleep. I'm like, this isn't right. I called the office and said, "Look, that's just, cruelty. I want to be the first one on his surgery list, because this isn't right." And so they said that, they supposedly, he came back to work. As soon as he came back to work, they scheduled me for the next day. But in the hospital, I guess they treated me well. I had the renal specialist come in, and there was some other kind of doctor in there that kept checking my creatinine, until that went below. I think it's supposed to be below 1. I couldn't go home. I might have needed dialysis. I was just so frustrated, and I was like, I think what happened was the stone crusher I was using was getting higher and higher, and to buy it, so I tried a different one that was cheaper, and I think that's what happened. I was using that for 2 years. The doctor's like, "No, there's no way all those stones came out in 2 years." He was always like negative. He was like kind of negative. He would just shake his head, no. But I think I was there for like 3 days. And every day, first my creatinine was 3, then it went down to 2, and then it went down to 1. So he told me, if it didn't keep going, if it kept going down, I could go home. So once it went, he said if it comes down below 2, and it was down to 1, that he would let me go home. I was so happy. And I come home. So that whole month I was miserable, but I could function somewhat, Finally, the day comes. These people at the day before said that I didn't get approval from my cardiologist. I'm like, why didn't you guys get that approval? And they said, oh, they thought that I had it already. Man, I called my cardiologist. I was begging them, please give them whatever they want because I need to get these stents out of me. So they did that. Thank God, everything was done in time. And this is when the real stuff happened. So now I got the stents, I got the Norco, I got antibiotic, and I got something for bladder control this time. He said he was going away for another month. So I was like, hey, yeah, you better give me something. You can't leave me like you did the last time. So I got all that stuff. And I had, supposedly, he took out the one big stone from the right and put a stent with a string. But he left a stent in the left side. He said that he could not get all the stones. And me and my husband was like, how many stones could one person have? Anyway, I took all my medicine that he gave me. The bladder control was crap. So, took everything. And then out of nowhere, I'm falling. I don't know what was going on. I would just fall out of nowhere. The first time I had to go pee, because I was peeing myself for like 2 weeks. At first it was because of the string. I was allowed to take that out after a week. But I don't know why I was still peeing myself. So I'm trying to get to the bathroom in time. I don't know. I don't know if I was putting on my slippers or what happened, but I fell and I banged my ribs again. I couldn't hold the pee. I'm peeing myself again. So that same night, I got up to go to the bathroom, and I'm still having trouble holding it. Like, I'll get up, but as I'm going to the bathroom, it's trickling out. It was just horrible. It was horrible. That night, I went to go to the bathroom. It's trickling out as I'm running to the bathroom. I told my husband, you're going to have to steam clean this floor. So I come back to get back to the bed. To get back to my recliner car. I couldn't sleep in the bed. I was afraid I would pee my bed. My ribs were hurting. So I go to, I don't know what happened. I go to sit down and I fell. Just out of nowhere, I just went down. I broke my fan. I had a fan on me. I fell on that, broke my fan. I've lost 90 pounds, probably more, because of Manjaro that I've been taking in the past 3 years slowly. My chin is like hanging, wrinkly and hanging now. I am 60. I needed the help of my husband and my daughter. I needed the help of a secure chair, because most of our chairs have wheels, for the computer and whatnot. And I'm gonna use the green one. So between my husband, my daughter, and that chair, I was able to get up. My legs were just giving out from under me. I don't know what happened. So That's pretty. Can barely see the brown one, but I could see when I look in the mirror. Let's see. I hope that my eyes don't start tearing, but I wanted to put this one on the in the waterline. Wow. Wow. It worked. It's soft and all that, but it's not a color to go in the water. My eyes are like pink and gold now and there. So I've used all 4 liners on my eyes. I did the pink one in the crease. I did the brown one on my lash line. I did the green one under, and the blue, which I thought it was blue, but it's coming out pink and gold on my waterline. I used the green shadow on my eye. I mean the green highlighter on my eyes. I used this messy thing on my lids. So all I got left is the blue and the glosses. So I didn't know what was going on with me. I was like, what the heck? So I know I fell 7 times, but the last time was because I tripped over my husband's shoes. But so it's hazy right now. What's, going on, what happened between the 2 times that I had to go back to him. But that was the kind of nonsense that, oh, now I remember. The medicine gave me like dry mouth. I couldn't eat. I could barely eat. Everything was so bitter. I basically was just drinking broth and tea. That's it. I just, all food tasted bitter in my mouth. I could not wait. I'm pretty sure I went down to 300 pounds. Well, because I was 400 at one point, 405 at one point. And I got down to 308. And I had doctor's appointments for the next 2 weeks. I was wearing diapers to go out, and so that I wouldn't pee myself. As soon as I got to my destination, I would pee. Every destination I had to go to, if I had to stop at Walmart, if I had to stop at H-E-B, I would go to the bathroom first so that I wouldn't pee myself, because it's just funky. But anyway, I was wearing diapers everywhere. I got to see I had to postpone all my appointments, and I moved them out to 2 weeks, and I'm so glad, because I was peeing myself for the 2 weeks. So I guess I was retraining myself to, to hold it, and I was doing okay. Time for my second, and this is when it got really bad. So he said, I told him if I have to sign something saying that I'm refusing stints, I will do it. Just tell me what to do, because I am not doing stints anymore. I want to remove them, because here it was. I said you said 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks turned into 2 months. That was worse than my other doctor did to me. That time it was 6 weeks. All right, so second time I was so happy. Stints out, one with a string. I was just so happy. I was feeling good. My house was disgusting. I said, okay, I'm going to clean my bathroom. I can't do the tub because of my arthritis, but, do the sink, toilet. So I was feeling great. They fed me in the hospital. I was getting my appetite back. Oh no, they didn't feed me in the hospital yet. They They send you home the same day. So the doctor says, I'm giving you antibiotics again for infection. I was like, does he mean to prevent infection? But I think what he meant was I have an infection, and I'm like, I found out he gave me the same antibiotic as he did the first time. So if that didn't work, why did you give me the same one again? So anyway, I was doing fine that first day home. My husband got my medicines from the pharmacy. I go to take my antibiotic. My whole body was shaking uncontrollably. Me and my son think it might have been having a reaction to something, one of my other meds, but I don't know. What's the same med as the first time? I don't get it. But anyway, it was shaking uncontrollably between an hour to 2 hours when I was trying to go to sleep. The next day, for the next 3 days, I'm not eating. All I can do is sleep. I might and go to the bathroom. I was taking, because I kept peeing myself, I was taking like 10 showers a day. I would fall asleep. I would have the craziest dreams. Then I would wake up and I would see flowers hanging from the ceiling. I would think that I saw my husband or my son next to me, and I'd look and they weren't there. This was going on for 3 days. I couldn't eat. Not even the broth. All I could do was sleep and go to the bathroom when I needed to. I would drink water. I would take my pills. My husband was really scared and worried about me. He said that I would look at him like I didn't recognize him. So yeah, every time I open up my eyes, I'm seeing flowers falling from the ceiling. At least it wasn't something bad, you know. So that went on for 3 days. I did not touch that antibiotic again. I felt like after 3 days I was feeling maybe 50% better. I felt like I was getting my brain back. And, you know, my daughter was staying with me in the shower. My husband would sometimes stay with me. Like they would, you know, so I wouldn't slip. So I was taking a shower, and out of nowhere, my back just gave out. And I was down again in the shower. You know, it's on the floor. I could use the chair, I could use the traction of the rug, but in the shower. So, nobody could help me. I was out. I was down, and we had to call 911 because nobody could help me. I couldn't get out. The first time I got out with my son covering me with a blanket, and my daughter was behind me and pushing my knees up, but this time it was so painful for my knees. So we finally called 911. Anyway, they came, they got me out. It was so embarrassing because I'm half naked, because I got my pajama, but it wouldn't go past, you know, the top parts. They had to there was like 6 of them, firemen. They had to put some sort of a plastic thing with handles, slide it under me, pull me out, and they asked if I wanted to go to the hospital, and I said no. So they sat me in my chair, and I'm going to use this as blush. Let's see how that works. I don't know how it's going to work, but let's find out. I'm just trying to use the Chameleon collection alone. I told him just put me in my recliner. And, you know, he says I could take you to the hospital. We could take you, and I'm like, why? What are they gonna do for me? You know? I just, you know, that's how I felt that time. And I stopped having. I was still having some crazy dreams, but I stopped seeing flowers fall from the ceiling. I thought I was getting better, and then after a week. Oh no, wait. I got up to go to the bathroom, and my legs gave out from under me, and I could not get up for nothing in the world. I was stuck for 2 hours on the floor till my daughter finally, you know, I mean, the dogs were barking. I had the door closed. I'm trying to scream as best I can. And my 2 hours. At one point, I fell asleep because I was so tired. To go to the bathroom, peed myself again. Finally, my daughter, about 2 hours later, my daughter gets up. And she said she thought she heard me calling her. She came in, and between her and my son and the chair, the steady chair, I was able to get up. Not bad. Not bad. Finally, after a week of not eating, my feces was stuck literally in my butthole. I could not go to. It was like a rock in there. I could not go to the bathroom. My daughter went to help me get up from the toilet because at that point, my children and my husband all had to help me get up so that I wouldn't fall. But my knees gave out as my daughter was trying to help me get up, and I said, call 911, take me to the hospital. I can't live like this. And I told them, take me to a hospital I swore I'd never go to again. But my GI doctor was there, and he was on call. So, they wanted to take me to the big hospital out in Houston. I'm like, I'm not going there. I want to go where my GI doctor is. I will never go. I don't care what happens. I will never go there again. And I think I'm going to need a new GI doctor because I'm not going there again. They did a colonoscopy and found no polyps, just diverticulosis, which just means pockets. So they said I was good. Even though I told them that ever since I took that nastiness, because it was in May that I did the colonoscopy before all this craziness happened. I told them, you know, that I've been feeling like trapped gas in my esophagus ever since I took that stuff, you know, to make you go to the bathroom. And he was like, if it keeps bothering you, just come back, but otherwise I won't need to see you for 6 months, or not even a year. I'm using the brown one for the lip liner. So I'm like, I can't live like this. This is painful to my butt. I tried taking laxatives, prune juice, you know, aloe vera. Nothing was working. And I told them take me to my hospital. All I had on was my pajamas. I said, can I get a dress or something? Oh no, don't worry, they'll take care of you there. I was there until 12 noon. Until, might have been 4 before they actually took me. I couldn't, because I could have peed or crapped myself at any moment. I could not. What is wrong with me? Oh my goodness. How to fix that? Oh, I love this color. Let me tell you. I love that. So I was there for 4 hours. Everybody seen my butt because I could not put my pajamas under my butt because I would feel the desire to bear down. It was so painful. And I could have, urinated myself at any moment. But they didn't take care of me. They put a blanket on me and that was it. And you could see everybody was seeing my butt in the emergency room. There must have been like 30 people ahead of me. So they finally take me into the back, do blood work, stuff like that, and brought me back out to the emergency room and said, we'll call you when, there's a room available. They had like 20 rooms, but anyway, stick me in a room. Finally, at about maybe 6 o'clock, maybe 5, 6 o'clock. This doctor that I had was one of the most arrogant and I dare say evil doctors I have ever met. They did the CAT scans and found out that my hernia and my intestine are kind of like meshed together right now. Like, I don't know, one is in the other. But they can't take care of that until they get rid of the infection in my kidneys, which would explain why my urine was so cloudy. And they said, we're admitting you. You need antibiotics through intravenous. But they left me in this room. They said, oh, we got to get a room for you, okay? This was between 5 and 6 o'clock. Oh, wait a minute. This is the worst part of all, and I need to complain about this. This doctor keeps telling me, because he was the doctor I saw when they did my blood work, and they did my urine, but I asked them for a hat. Some of you might know what that is medically. It's like the round, a half round, and you pee in that so it could capture your urine. I don't know what happened, but when I urinated, the desire to bear down came. And I'm telling you, a rock. It was like a long rock came out of finally came out of my butt. I want to put a little, I knew this was going to like do that, so I'm going to put more. So this doctor, he says he's going to talk to me, blah, blah, blah. Walks into the room. The room had no call button. It was freezing like if you were in Alaska. And I told him, Doc, something like a rock came out of my butt. He doesn't talk to me, doesn't say anything. They put a bunch of dog like the dog pee pads, which I have at home and I was using for like, for 2-3 weeks. Doesn't tell me anything. Sticks his finger into my rectum. I was screaming my head off. And he did that like 3 times. And he told me, push, push. And I'm like, did you get what you wanted? Because if you're going to do this again, you need to give me something for pain. He said, I can't seem to get anything but clay out of there. And walks out and leaves me like that. So that was when they brought me into that room. And then at 6 o'clock, they told me they're admitting me because of the infection. And my doctor never saw me. I called his office 3 times. They said that he was there. They'll let him know to come and see me. They said, we've admitted you. So they said that they wanted to admit. I'm using the last thing, which I forgot that I didn't do. So it was like 6 o'clock. They said that they were admitting me, but they don't have a room available yet. Now, while I'm in this room, I kept saying I'm cold. They would put a heated blanket on me, and within 5 minutes, that blanket was freezing cold. I must have had about 6 blankets on me, and I felt like I was freaking in Alaska. I'm gonna just blend that out because I'm 60, not 20, so I don't want to shine to the sky like other girls like to. Anyway, so I used everything from the Chrome collection. No, they don't have. I kept asking. I said, "Look, I'm freezing. No call button for the nurses." I was left alone for like an hour because my husband. Do you know that they didn't have any bottled water for their patients? They had it for themselves, but they would give us tap water, and the Pearland tap water causes kidney stones. The vet told me that his biggest business, I guess you could say, or surgery traffic or whatever, was in Pearland with doggy kidney stones. That's sad. So my family went out to go get some water. This place didn't really allow you to have someone with you when they go into the room. My daughter and I always stay together. She always takes care of me. And my daughter was so mad. My husband took her home. He came back with the water. And by this time it was like almost 11 o'clock at night. And finally he brought me out. That doctor who said he was going to talk to me, every time I went to go to the bathroom, I'd see him at the nurse's station. When I went to him, he turned the other way and would leave. He would like run the other way. That doctor was evil. I get the... I know this is terrible to say, but I feel like he enjoyed hurting me when he was hurting me. He finally came in. I think the nurses convinced him to come in, and he's not even looking at me. He's scrolling on his phone and telling me, oh, the reason why you've been admitted, because I didn't know. Until he told me. You have to be admitted because you have an infection, and, I'm sure you're tired of passing out and falling on the floor. I was like, I never said that. Stephanie's like, she never said that. He kept challenging her because she would, like, say something he didn't like. He just kept challenging her. And I'm like, you could challenge her, but you can't look me in the eye and talk to me like a decent human being. And so he said you have to, that's when he's the one who said you need to be intravenously given antibiotics. And I don't think, if I remember correctly, I don't think nurses are allowed to tell you. I think the doctors are. So it was almost 11. My husband put me in the wheelchair, brought me out to the nurses, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? I've been calling for a nurse. And I could hear them. They're laughing and giggling and talking to each other, but they couldn't hear me. And finally, my nurse came to me and said, no, I said, where's this room that's supposed to be available for me? They said they admitted me. And she said, oh, there's still no room available for you upstairs. We're got to find a room and clean it up. I said, you know what? It doesn't take 6 hours to clean up a room. So I want to go home. And so my nurse was she looked so, I don't know. I don't know if she was disappointed or felt bad for me or what. But she just took out my IV and let me go with the blankets. Oh my goodness, because I was freezing. I had nothing. I was just in my pajamas. And I basically, I discussed it with my husband. Should I go to the other emergency room? Because I've been in the emergency room since like 12 noon. And we decided that I would come home and call my urologist. Even though he's the biggest, fattest liar, he was worse than the other one. Because the other one would tell me what he was doing. Oh, no, I'm not taking out. I need you to keep coming back to do this, to do that. And he kept my kidneys hostage, but he was open about it. This guy would just lie through his teeth. But he was my urologist. He was the only one who could tell the hospital to admit me. And basically, I was supposed to stay in the hospital for a week on antibiotics to clear the infection in my kidney. So I only have one functioning kidney. Oh, and he tells me after, I couldn't get all the stones out again. He said those stones, I couldn't reach them. They're like at the very, very bottom of your kidney. So maybe we could do this again next year because I know you need a break. The only reason why we're doing it this year is because I've been in and out of the hospital so much that I'm covered at 100% with my insurance. You know how much it costs to remove stents? Back then it was $600 last time, which my insurance covered. Who knows? $1,000 probably now. I can't do that. So I was like, I need a break. I don't care. I don't care. I need a break. I don't want this anymore. So he taught, I went to the emergency room, again, took a shower, washed my hair, went to the emergency room, and they called him, and they said that, they're going to admit me, that I just had to wait for a room. I don't remember how long it took for me to get a room. Maybe 3 hours. Stephanie still cannot stay with me because it was a shared room. It wasn't so bad sharing a room with someone, but she had dementia. She was not allowed to get out of that bed she had a babysitter, nurses that had to watch her because she will pull out her IV and try to leave. She had visitors all day because she had turned 102. And that wasn't so bad until they left, and then the afternoon babysitter came. Oh my goodness. There were 2 young girls. They were acting like street kids. One of them had a child. She said she was 25 because I could hear everything. And they would just, it was just bugging the crap out of me. The lady's trying to sleep and they're asking her a million questions. She's not all there. She has dementia. They were doing a dating profile. They did a little bit of arguing about she only needs one babysitter, that who's going to get paid, blah, blah, blah. And it was just going on for hours. I was so happy when they left. Because I couldn't sleep. I had not slept that whole night. She was happy most of the day. When my visitors came, my husband and my children, my son sat, I guess, a little bit too close to her side, and she started making trouble. The nurses told her to stop, that she had her visitors and now I have mine. I don't know what time it was. She lost it. She kept trying to get out. There was an alarm on her bed that if she puts her foot on the floor, beeping. And this was going on for hours. And finally at 2 o'clock in the morning, because I couldn't sleep, she's screaming, yelling, threatening to take off her diaper and put it, I don't know if she said she was going to put it in his face. I don't know what she was saying. And I said, look, you need to give me my own room, or, but you need to get me out of here. I can't. This has been going on for 2-3 hours already. So they had to come in and put her. They didn't want to move me. They put her in another room. And she had to be on watch. It was just horrible. They immediately cleaned out her side of the room, and now I was in this huge room by myself. It was very gloomy. I don't know, the shades were like taped so they wouldn't open. And because I was in front of the nurse's station, if I just needed help, I was, hey, I need help. And, they would help me. I was considered a fall risk, so I had to learn how to use a walker. Or one of the nurses had to take me to the bathroom. They had to unplug the machine that was connected to my IV. I know that first night I didn't get any sleep because where they put the IV kept setting the machine off. But that second night I went on their recliner, and even though my butt was on fire from the bed, I don't know, their hospitals, man, get better beds, but I was able to sleep better on the recliner. The next day, I think my husband had come to see me. I don't remember what time it was. It might have been Saturday, so he came to see me in the afternoon or early afternoon, and the nurse said, we got a room for your wife. She has a private room now. I was so happy. Now my daughter could stay with me, but the private room was towards the back, not near the nurse's station, so we said we needed the recliner for my daughter, and she was the biggest blessing helping me out. So at one point I was just getting up and unplugging myself. Like if my daughter went to go get food, or my husband drove her home to take a shower and change and all of that. The nurse was shocked. He's like, you're not even using the walker? You could walk? And I'm like, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'm not gonna pee myself. Do you know I don't remember the name of this thing. They have this thing that's suction. And carries your urine into a basket. And I knew that wasn't gonna work, and it worked the first 2 times, and then I peed myself. And they have you stuck to all of these things, so you can't really take a shower. The first night they did it, I peed myself. They let me take a shower from the bottom, waist down. So, I told them, I'm not using that anymore. I am not using that. Oh, but no, we'll do it better. No, I'm not using that. So he was shocked that I was walking on my own. I had to bring my machine because it's attached to your IV. I had to wash myself with washcloths, or I had some wipes. I brought wipes with me. So I was wiping down my body. And then I was like, you know what? I really would like to take a shower. I think this was Sunday night, and they disconnected me. They let me take a shower, full body shower. And so basically what they told me on Friday was they took my urine, and they needed to know the exact bacteria that needed to be targeted. And Saturday they told me, we know what you have, what bacteria you have, but the pharmacies don't really work on stuff like that on the weekends. They only do that, Monday to Friday, so they have to make a cocktail for you to target that bacteria. So, I could have stayed home, my urologist told me, but he said the only antibiotic that will work is Cipro, and I had reactions to Cipro the last time, the walls and the floors were moving. I'm already falling everywhere. So if I take Cipro, I don't think that was smart. So my husband and I were like, you need to stay here a week. But he said Monday we can give you this antibiotic, and you can go home afterwards. It'll target that. So let me tell you, the renal doctor there was causing trouble. They were causing trouble. They were great, but I hadn't eaten in a week. I was up all night, the first night. All I had to look forward to was my breakfast. I only got through halfway up through my breakfast when they took the tray away and said, you can't eat. We need to talk to the surgeon about your hernia. And I'm like, look, I'm not having no surgery while I'm here. I'm here for my kidneys, and I'm going home. Well, you're even if you don't have the surgery, which I was adamantly telling them I'm not doing no surgery. We need to give your intestines a break. I'm like, is she kidding me? I couldn't crap for a week because I didn't eat. So, I complained, and they spoke to the surgeon, and the surgeon said that while I have an infection, I can't have the surgery anyway. So they let me eat again. I'm like, that's the only thing I had to look forward to. And let me tell you, they fed you really good. But what had me confused was I wasn't allowed bread. I wasn't allowed cream spinach. I wasn't allowed mashed potatoes. But I was allowed rice and noodles. And they put mac and cheese. They made me mac. Basically, I was eating broccoli and mac and cheese with all my meat. I need to be on a special renal diet now, so I have to figure that out. I'm trying, though. Anyway, the renal specialist was making trouble. He doesn't think that my kidneys could take that strong antibiotic. I need to get rid of my stones, the rest of my stones, because I cannot go to a renal specialist until all the stones are out. He's making trouble for me. And finally, the infection, I was seeing an infectious disease doctor was seeing me, and he said that it's just one dose. I should be fine, and I could go home. So, they told me my two options are I'm afraid of the antibiotics, that strong one. They could just keep me there for 2 more days. My butt was numb, pain, burning, all at the same time. And they said, or you can just take this and go home today. I said, I'm going home today. Thank you. Well, I could take a full shower every day. I can, I might be a messy housekeeper, but when it comes to my body, I like to be clean. I could sleep in my own bed. So I was so happy to be home. And so far, so good. I only tripped the other day because my husband left his shoes on the floor and I kicked them out the door. I went to go take a shower, which I need a seat now. I can't stand in the shower anymore, which I really don't like. Because I don't feel like I could clean myself as good. I do stand up to clean, the vajayjay and the coolie. But I sit for my upper half, and there usually have to have my husband or my daughter with me, and they help me in and out. So yeah, I tripped, and my whole body went into pain. But the difference between this time and all those other 6 times is that I had the strength to crawl, which I did. I couldn't move before. Everything just gave out. I had the strength in my knees to lift myself up. Well, I have to do it with one knee, and then I get up and use my other foot. But between my husband, my son, and my daughter, I was up. But my body, my hip, because I fell on my left side, was in horrible pain. My ribs started hurting. I don't know if maybe I kind of did this, but my wrist and my elbow were really hurting me. Yeah, that was that. Right now I'm still in pain. My butt still has not completely recovered. I'm able to go to the bathroom. Oh, my urine is clear now. It's not cloudy. But I was able to go to the bathroom, you know, for number 2, but it's kind of weird. It's not the same. They immediately made an appointment for me to see the surgeon about my hernia. So I didn't want to, but at the same time, I was like, let's see what he has to say. You know, all my appointments starting next week. The pain doctor, my PCP. I think there's another doctor I have to see, but I can't remember at this moment. And I need to make an appointment with my urologist, so that he can give me a jug to urinate in for the urine analysis, so they could find out what is causing these stones. He knows they're oxalate, he said, but the urine, what's in my urine, is what's going to really give them more information. So anyway, they did do a brain scan, and supposedly my brain is fine, because they thought maybe I was having some neurological problems. So everything that was happening to me was due to that infection in my kidneys, and I found out that UTIs can cause dementia-like symptoms. It's like it affects a lot of people really badly. I guess it got me. I know this girl told me her grandmother gets psychotic whenever she gets a UTI. So I'm home now. I'm resting as much as possible. Next week I start my appointments, because I am going to need the pain pills for all the pain I'm in. Probably going to have to get more blood work. I have to make that appointment. They're supposed to call me, and they haven't. So I'm supposed to make that appointment with my urologist. I think I'm going to look for a new GI, because I didn't get do you know that I got a call at 3 o'clock in the afternoon the next day? And your GI doctor wants to see you go back to the emergency. I said, I'm not going there ever, 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 ever again. Not if you paid me $1 million. So I think I might have to start looking for a new GI. And the gas problem, it's better, but he gave me some famotidine, and I think that works, because nothing else was really working. Omeprazole, Proprazole, Tums, none of that was working. So I'm looking at the time, because it stops at 25 minutes. So yeah, get to doing what I need to do before the year's up, while everything's being paid for at 100%. I'm not, everything's slow motion. I haven't cleaned my brushes for 6 months, but then again, I haven't really been wearing a lot of makeup. It's just been, I've been feeling so weak that I've even gone out without makeup, and I rarely ever do that. I just want to let you know what's going on with me. I've just been in and out of the hospital.